everyone. Thanks for joining Audubon's Share the Shore Awards. We're going to get started in just a moment. Thanks to everyone who's joined us so far. We're still letting folks in. We're just gonna wait another 30 seconds.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining and welcome to Audubon's first ever Share the Shore Awards. My name is Connie Ashforth and I'm the board chair of Audubon, Connecticut.
And I'm Karen Thomas, board chair of Audubon, New York. And we are thrilled to be co-hosting today's award ceremony and press conference. We are here today to honor two local communities, one in Connecticut and one in New York, who have shown tremendous dedication, passion, and creativity in their efforts to support vulnerable beach nesting birds.
Every May through August, federally and state protected birds like piping plover, least tern, and American oyster catcher nest and hatch chicks on our shores, chicks that weigh less than a single scoop of ice cream. They can't survive without our help. Share the Shore is Audubon's way of ensuring these birds, ensuring these birds can always call our coastline home. The Share the Shore program unites scientists, local community members. Together, we create opportunities to protect nesting areas and educate beachgoers about the importance of keeping our beaches safe and clean for birds and people.
The two communities we are here to celebrate today have each been growing their stewardship programs for decades. They actively manage critical beach habitat, have launched exciting programs for volunteers and paid positions for local youth, share educational messages with the public, and are constantly looking for opportunities to do more.
So without further ado, we are thrilled to celebrate the town of Hempstead in New York and the city of West Haven in Connecticut as our first ever Share the Shore Award winners.
In just a few minutes, we will officially present our awards to our winning communities. We will also host a Q&A for those reporters who are joining us today. But first, we are going to take a tour of some of the incredible successes these two communities have achieved throughout the years. To lead us on that tour, I would like to introduce Corey Folsom O'Keefe, Director of Bird Conservation for Audubon, Connecticut, and Jillian Liner, Director of Conservation for Audubon, New York.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for today's celebration. When we talk about Audubon's Share the Shore program, we are really talking about the work being done by local communities on the ground at their local beaches. We hope that the City of West Haven and the town of Hempstead serve as models for the whole Long Island Sound and Atlantic Coast area. These two communities have dedicated years to this effort, but just like any other community can do, they started small and built up to an award-winning effort. When you visit West Haven's Sandy Point Beach and Bird Sanctuary, pictured here, you'll see a well-tended bird and butterfly gardens, a viewing platform, signs with information about migratory shorebirds and other wildlife, and osprey nesting platforms installed on Oldfield Creek. It's a friendly place, but that wasn't the case 15 years ago. A trip back in time would show a dirt parking lot with large potholes, graffiti, and lots of garbage. This wonderful change has been a community effort, the result of partnership between the city, its residents, Audubon, and many others, each doing their part to turn an eyesore into a source of pride. The whole process started with the designation of the site as an important bird area in 2003. This caught the attention of the city, which slowly began making changes to improve the site. One of the first big projects was the installation of self-regulating tide gates on Oldfield Creek that allowed for the natural ebb and flow of salt water into the salt marsh landward of the gates, and the formation of incredible foraging habitat for a wide variety of birds seaward of the gates. In 2012, Audubon began working on a conservation plan for Sandy Point and reached out to the city and also members of the newly formed West Haven Watershed Restoration Committee for input. The Restoration Committee, a group of residents that came together following Hurricanes Irene and Sandy, met with Audubon at Sandy Point to learn about the components of the conservation plan. Over the next 5 years, local residents removed invasive plants, replaced them with natives, and created an incredible bird and butterfly garden, as you can see. They also participated in Audubon's Be a Good Egg program, getting out the word about beach nesting birds amongst visitors to the beach. The program was so successful that in 2 years, most regular visitors to Sandy Point knew about the birds and what they could do to help them successfully raise their young. In coordination with the Restoration Committee, the city regraded the parking lot, put in additional raised beds for bird and butterfly gardens, and installed viewing platforms, while Monunketuk Audubon Society installed 8 osprey platforms in the vicinity of Sandy Point. With so much great work going on at Sandy Point, Audubon decided to bring the Wildlife Guards program to West Haven in 2017. In partnership with the city, West Haven High School, the Restoration Committee, the Roger Tory Peterson Institute, and Monunketuk Audubon Society, the program trains, mentors, and employs local high school students to serve as the official beach nesting bird monitors at Sandy Point during the months of July and August. To date, 16 West Haven students have participated in the program. More youth joined efforts to improve habitat at Sandy Point in 2018. Scouts Connor and Aiden Lynch completed their Eagle Scout projects, removing additional invasive plants and replacing them with natives that benefit birds and other wildlife. At the same time, Second Avenue residents took an interest in Sandy Point and began work to eradicate invasive Japanese knotwort along Beach Street. This summer, volunteers are hard at work maintaining the gardens in the parking area, while others are assisting with the stewardship of piping plover and American oyster catcher. In fact, a training for new piping plover monitors was held at Sandy Point on May 1st. Also, we are excited to be partnering with the city and the Restoration Committee on the Wildlife Guards program again this summer, introducing a new group of students to Sandy Point and teaching them that they can make a difference in their community. It has been one of the highlights of my career working with West Haven and its residents to make Sandy Point a wonderful place for birds and people too. And I want to thank you all for your efforts.
Thank you, Corey. Now I have the pleasure to highlight some of the amazing work led by the town of Hempstead. Audubon works with many partners across Long Island, and the town of Hempstead is one of the partners that I admire the most. The town is incredibly committed to the protection of nesting birds, which isn't easy considering the 3-mile stretch of beach that they manage on the South Shore of Long Island requires balancing competing and sometimes conflicting recreation activities and other management needs. It was back in the 1970s when the town first started their dune management program, and their monitoring efforts started around the same time. And they focused on implementing the New York State's Department of Environmental Conservation's colonial waterbird surveys. And that focused on counting skimmers and terns. And then over the years, the monitoring program expanded after the federal listing of the piping plover, and they track piping plovers, and they also monitor American oyster catchers. Over the years, the monitoring program expanded in terms of the types of activities that they were doing. They install predator exclusion, you see here on this screen, but they also install string fencing and signs, and they use GPS units to track the exact location of their nests. They also have an extensive banding program. They banned oyster catchers, and they also banned skimmers. And building on that, they started using satellite transmitters to obtain even more detailed information on the birds and their habitat use. Incredibly, the town has been able to secure full-time staff dedicated to shorebird monitoring and also seasonal staff. And this has allowed them to have dawn to dusk coverage 7 days per week, improving monitoring and preventing off-hour disturbances, ultimately allowing the large number of diversity and numbers of birds that they have at their beaches nest successfully. And the town not only invests so much in monitoring, but they're actively managing the habitat to make it more suitable and productive. Their habitat restoration efforts focus on improving forage habitat, which a lot of times monitoring efforts focused on protecting the beach habitat, but foraging habitat is also critical. And the town has created foraging ponds. And this image shows the result of that habitat restoration. All the little red dots are the nesting locations, and kind of the grayish toned sand indicates where they created the foraging ponds. So you can see that the nests have actually clustered around the areas where they've created these foraging ponds. Volunteer and community engagement are also priorities for the town. The town partners with Audubon on our Share the Shore outreach activities to work with local school groups to design signs. These help complement the federal signs that are put out on the beach. And the program also reaches thousands of beach visitors about how they can enjoy the beach while allowing the rare birds to nest successfully. There's no other town doing so much for shorebirds in New York. And the result of all that effort is that the town provides habitat to some of the highest diversity and numbers of shorebirds in the state, including these nesting birds and also these migrating shorebirds. Anyone on Long Island who's joined this call today should definitely get out and visit this site if you want to see some of New York's remarkable birds. We are incredibly fortunate that we have a town like the town of Hempstead protecting New York shorebirds, and we're so proud of the work being done in our 2 winning communities. Thank you for your partnership over the years, and we can't wait to see your awards in your hands.
Thank you, Jillian. To the incredible community of West Haven, super volunteers and staff, we would now like to invite Mayor Nancy Rossi to officially receive your award featuring the American oyster catcher. Mayor Rossi, we invite you to share your remarks on behalf of West Haven.
First, let's thank you. Thank you so much. We're very, very excited about this. Very, very excited. I will give some brief remarks. This is a really big day for West Haven, and I am so proud to accept this award on behalf of the city, our volunteers, our staff, and all the visitors to Sandy Point who played a part in helping us share the shore. Like the Audubon website says, this is more than a slogan. Share the Shore is an effort that has been sustained over the course of almost 20 years by many people at Sandy Point. We often refer to the expanse of our publicly accessible shoreline as the crown jewels of West Haven. But unlike the crown jewels of the world's monarchies, we do not keep them under lock and key and bring them out only for special occasions. We love to share our beaches and shoreline with people who respectfully share these areas with other valuable species. Piping plovers, oyster catchers, and other shore birds can only thrive with the assistance of human beings. And as we are at the beginning of the nesting season, I encourage everyone to be a good egg pledge. Keep at least 100 feet from marked or fenced nesting areas. Walk on the wet sand so you don't accidentally step on a nest. Walk around flocks of birds. Take out what you bring in and use trash and fishing line receptacles. Don't bring your dogs to the beach, and learn to share the shore. Thanks to everyone, every organization, every agency and department, too numerous to mention by name, for your many contributions. I know the work you have done at Sandy Point is a labor of love, and the city of West Haven is better for that work. You are the best. Thank you all.
Congratulations, Mayor Rossi. And now for the New York Award. To Supervisor Don Clavin, dedicated staff, and volunteers of the town of Hempstead, we are thrilled to present to you our first ever Share the Shore Award, featuring a piping plover. Supervisor Clavin, we invite you to share your remarks on behalf of your community.
Well, thank you very much, Karen, and thank you. It is an absolutely magnificent award that I am so honored to accept on behalf of the 700,000 plus residents who live here, as well as the amazing men and women I work with. I also want to congratulate our friends up north in West Haven. The mayor does a tremendous job. I've actually visited the community numerous times, and it's beautiful. And the work that they've done on their shores is really a testament to the award they've received as well. And being the two communities, I'm almost going to call them our sister up north, our sister communities, recognizing the commitment, but what can be done when we really focus on the ability to enjoy our shores, but also recognize the nature and you take the steps that are necessary. And for Jillian's remarks with the town and the commitment it's had since the mid 1970s, thank you very much. Later on, you're going to hear from one of my predecessors, Kate Murray, who had that commitment during her tenure as supervisor. It's a great award. We have a wonderful team in our conservation waterways, and I really want to take the time to signify someone who's on this call right now. She does a tremendous job down there, Tara Schneider. She really has yes, and you definitely a round of applause. I get to receive the award, but it's really because of the good work they've done down there over the decades. But it's really the commitment. We can enjoy our beautiful 3 miles of beaches. We can recognize our habitat and respect them. And we'll continue to do that. And the Audubon Society has been great. And Audubon New York has also been wonderful partners, as well as the DEC. So I don't want to go on too long. It's really a gratitude that we receive this. And this will proudly be displayed here at Town Hall for all the residents to see when they come in. And I would urge any of you, those pictures said it all. And I love that last picture. That really, I think, was symbolic of what we've been able to do down here in the South Shores of Long Island. Take the time. It's beautiful, but it's really a collaboration between, the town workforce, members of the Audubon side, the DC, as well as all the residents that finally understand you can all live here together. Our ecosystem can balance itself out, and we have much more to offer, not only our beaches, but so many beautiful birds. Take the time, come on down and enjoy it. Thank you again, and it really is a tremendous honor to receive this award. I appreciate it. Take care.
Congratulations, and thank you both for your leadership of these two really inspirational communities. We are now going to hear from a few more folks who've been involved in this work, but let's just get one more round of applause for our winning communities. I would now like to introduce Ann Heck to speak. Ann is the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service Piping Plover Coordinator for the Atlantic Coast. In her role, Ann works with partners across the coast to achieve piping plover recovery goals. Ann.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity to participate in today's event and to celebrate these great examples here of the town of Hempstead and the city of West Haven. Many of you probably know that Atlantic coast piping plovers face really pervasive and very persistent threats that include development, artificial stabilization of their beach habitats, disturbance by humans and pets, as well as human-abetted predation. But despite all of these pressures, piping plovers are also extremely lucky birds because so many partners, including state and federal agencies, conservation organizations, and of course, municipal beach managers, are so committed to the labor-intensive efforts needed to protect them and their habitats. So it's a great pleasure to celebrate the accomplishment of beach communities that are helping plovers and other beach nesting birds to thrive. The growth of the Atlantic piping plover population that's occurred during the last 30 years, from less than 800 pairs when they were added to the list of threatened and endangered species in the mid-1980s, to approximately 2,000 pairs in 2019, is a real testament to the benefits of these collaborative efforts. And these are being implemented not only in their breeding range, but now throughout their annual cycle. So it's a great pleasure to congratulate West Haven and the town of Hempstead on their contributions to conserving shorebirds and the well-deserved recognition conferred by the Share the Shore Awards. We very much hope that these examples will provide an inspiration to other coastal communities. So again, another round of applause, very heartfelt appreciation to West Haven and the town of Hempstead.
Thank you, Ann. Next, we would like to invite a well-known local environmental advocate, Hempstead Town Clerk Kate Murray, to speak. Throughout her career in public service, Clerk Murray has championed a host of conservation efforts and remains a valuable, invaluable ally of the area's birds. We owe Clerk Murray a great deal of thanks for her past and ongoing support of this program. Kate?
Well, thank you so much, Karen. And again, I join Supervisor Don Clavin in congratulating our friends in West Haven for their tremendous efforts. And I'm certainly so proud to be able to share this award with Don Clavin, this first annual and first ever Share the Shore Award. You know, the town, as we saw in the video, going back to the 70s, we've been long committed to protecting our vulnerable wildlife. And I'm so honored to accept this award. Now, during my tenure as supervisor for 13 years, back in 3 to 16, and town clerk again, I've had the privilege to help support these initiatives along with Supervisor Don Clavin. And we're so all united in safeguarding our coastal bird species and recognizing their unbelievably critical and positive impact on our environment. Our piping plovers, our American oyster catchers, our black skimmers, amongst all the panoply of beautiful birds that were highlighted today, they play such an incredible and important role in our ecosystem. But as we all know, they're so vulnerable to human influences. So our efforts to monitor and support these species through our stewardship sites have borne great fruit. We've been able to help keep up the population numbers of these various species, and we're proud of that. And as has been a theme throughout the whole presentation today, awareness and education certainly are major parts of our program. And so we have always been thrilled to invite our young students, even down to the elementary grades, to present beautiful artwork to help our beachgoers and to remind them that they share the shore with these vulnerable and beautiful feathered friends. And so again, I just want to join with Supervisor Don Clavin in thanking all of you, thanking Audubon, New York and Connecticut for your great efforts. And we look forward to partnering going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. I'd now like to introduce State Representative Dorinda Borer. Dorinda represents West Haven's 115th General Assembly District. She is the former House Chair of the Environment Committee and is now the Bonding Chair of Finance, Revenue, and Bonding Committee. We are glad to have her celebrating here with us today. Representative Borer, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for allowing me to say a few words this morning. And just a big, great thank you to the Audubon Society for recognizing the great work of our city. This has been a long but very fruitful process for the Sandy Point Beach and Bird Sanctuary, from the installation of the self-regulating tide gates to the removal of the invasive plants, the creating the incredible bird and butterfly garden, the viewing platform, educational signs. It's all come together because of the Audubon Society, the Watershed Restoration Committee, the city, and most importantly, the volunteers. And I see a lot of our volunteers on this morning, but you all together took your passion and made this plan a reality. We went from a dirt parking lot to a beautiful natural sanctuary that our entire community could be proud of. Thanks to all of you. We all love our shoreline, but we want to enjoy it in a way that protects our most vulnerable species. And I just want to take the opportunity also to thank the Audubon for the Wildlife Guards program. I have a lot of friends that have children in that program, and the feedback has been tremendous. It's a wonderful opportunity to educate and mentor our high school students so that they can continue and carry on our protection mission. And also want to thank all of you for educating us as elected officials so that we can continue to provide the support for the work that all of you do. So with that, a big congratulations to everyone on the Share the Shore Award, to both communities. Very well deserved. Very grateful that our two cities are the first ever to receive this award. And I think I heard an invite from Donald for a road trip. So maybe we could go to Hampstead. Maybe Hampstead could come to the city of West Haven and we could share in our great projects. So thank you to everybody.
Thank you, Dorinda. Now, Andrea McMaw is a wildlife biologist with the New York State DEC, working with non-game, threatened, and endangered species. In that role, she works with cooperators across Nassau and Suffolk County in the implementation of the region's piping plovers and nesting shorebird program. Andrea?
Thank you, Karen. Thank you to Audubon for holding this event and recognizing these two very, very deserving organizations. I've had the privilege of working with the town of Hempstead over the last 2 seasons, and the town has been a crucial cooperator in supporting not only our shorebird work, but additional projects when called upon, such as helping waterfowl band. The knowledge and experience of their staff, namely John Zaretsky, Tara Schneider-Moran, and Rob Lanjaru, is invaluable in working towards our mission in perpetuating healthy and diverse populations of wildlife. The town of Hempstead serves as an important model for other communities throughout the region. Congratulations on this very well-deserved award.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Katie Dykes. Katie is the Commissioner of Connecticut's Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. She previously served as Chair of Connecticut's Public Utilities Regulatory Authority from 2015 to 2018, and as Deputy Commissioner for Energy at Connecticut's DP from 2012 to 2015. Katie joined Connecticut DEP in March of 2012 and is a graduate of Yale College and the Yale Law School. Katie.
Thank you so much for that warm welcome, and it's great to be part of this event. I just want to extend my congratulations as well to the winners, and thank you to Mayor Rossi and to all the terrific volunteers in West Haven. Also want to express my appreciation for Representative Borer, who's been a great champion for all of our efforts that we're doing at the department and working on environmental regulations and legislation. Is a really busy time this year. We're excited about what can advance in the General Assembly that will provide even more tools for communities like West Haven to protect these incredibly important resources with our shorebirds. I also want to say, over the last year, as we've been all, fighting this pandemic and staying home and staying safe and taking so many different measures to help keep our families and our community safe with the pandemic, we've seen an explosion of interest in getting outdoors at deep, obviously with all of our shoreline parks. These really special places have been rediscovered by so many of our citizens across Connecticut. We've seen kind of an overall a 50% increase in trail usage across the state. And even though we were limiting some of the capacity, the parking capacity for our shoreline parks for visitors, we actually served more visitors to our shoreline parks last year than ever before. And so I think at the same time, we've seen, I know you all have experienced this, a significant increase in people's interest in birding and getting more information and education around our incredible wildlife and all of our different bird species across the region. And folks have, I think, in this moment, kind of been seeking out more of a connection to nature and a connection to these special places. So all of those are things that we celebrate, but we also recognize that the conflicts that can come with helping to manage, more visitors into places that we share with our shorebirds. And so I just want to acknowledge what an incredible year this has been in these extraordinary circumstances. The work that you all do as volunteers to help directly in the community to talk to people and connect with people in our neighborhoods, in our communities about how to share the shore, how to keep these endangered species safe at the same time that you're helping people appreciate the incredible beauty and value and special aspects of these bird populations that we're so privileged to welcome into West Haven and in our communities all up and down the shore. It's so critical and so essential. And so I'm excited about what this summer is going to be bringing, what the future, is bringing as we come out of this pandemic. We've made we're turning the corner in so many exciting ways, but it just underscores that I think all of these folks who have newly discovered these special places are going to benefit so much more from the really effective and unique education that you provided around stewardship. And so thank you so much for what you're doing. It's great to be part of this event, and I look forward to having the chance to celebrate your incredible efforts in person sometime soon. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much to everyone who has joined us here today. Let's get one more round of applause for Town of Hempstead and the City of West Haven. Thank you to everyone who has joined us. We do also have a couple of reporters who have joined us today, and we want to make sure that if you have any questions for us on the call, that we're able to answer them. So we do have volunteers with us on the call. We have obviously Corey and Jillian, who have been working closely with both West Haven and Town of Hempstead to make all of this incredible work happen. And so if you do have questions, you can put them in the chat and we'll answer them. And otherwise, thank you again to everyone for joining us here today. We'll just give it a couple seconds to see we get any questions in. Thank you to Kim. She says, congratulations to all of the volunteers in West Haven who are so fiercely committed to keeping our endangered species safe and our beaches clean. They truly deserve this award. Oh, great. Well, I think that might be it for us here today, on video at least. I know that we will see a number of you out on our bird walks in just a couple of hours, and we look forward to seeing news of the Share the Shore Awards spread across Connecticut and New York. And with that, I'll lead us out.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.